Welcome to the Ray Tampa podcast. Today it'll be
Two of us.
Russell Cato, and myself today. Ray won't be with us. So we're going to talk about the shutdown.
Yes.
We're going to go right into it, talk about the shutdown.
Mhm.
So we had 8 Democrats to cross the line to vote with the Republicans
Truly.
after about a 40-day strong standout, so to speak. Hanging in there.
Mhm.
The Democratic senators that voted against America's best interests, I'm going to call their names out: Dick Durbin of Illinois, Catherine Cortez Masto of Nevada, John Fetterman of Pennsylvania, Maggie Hassan of New Hampshire, Tim Kaine of West Virginia, Agnes King of Maine, and Jackie Rosen of Nevada. Well, that is, yeah. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, and one more. Jean Shaheen of New Hampshire. Now, these 8 Democrats that crossed over were said to be retiring.
Yes.
Hmm.
That's what did it.
Yeah. and not running for re-election or just what have you. So that's kind of, see, they made this move because they no longer have skin in the game. But this alludes to this already being planned.
Exactly.
And that's a concern. Now, and they have to answer to their constituents because they won't be running again. They won't have anybody, they won't be
They're not in the
grilled for it, so to speak. Allegedly, Chuck Schumer was, he said, allegedly he was aware, but then, although he claims he wasn't, it feels and smells, it's a little fishy. And I personally don't believe what Chuck Schumer, that he didn't know. So what are the odds? What are the odds of just 8 retirees? Come on, we're supposed to be stupid. 8 people that are retiring doing this. Chucky, we're not stupid, bro. We're not stupid.
Chuck and she.
The Democratic leaders obviously don't know about the art of war. Standing down, handling your business. They either don't know anything about it or never read it. We held out for 40 days, and all we got was a promise of a deal, a handshake of a deal. You know what I'm saying? Oh, don't put this on paper. Let's just do a handshake, please. They fell for the okie doke. There are 3 main parts. There are 3 main parts to this deal: to extend the Affordable Care Act subsidies, which will fail in the Senate and most likely not even reach the House. They're going to supposed to be rehiring and reimburse a lot of the, and the payback for federal employees that were fired or laid off illegally. That was illegal to begin with. And some were laid off and fired even before the shutdown. So I don't know how that's going to work out. The courts were already kind of overturning a lot of the cases, the decisions, because of it being illegal. And federal law guarantees that they were supposed to get the back pay.
Exactly.
Yeah. The third part were the 3 appropriation bills: USAID, Veterans Affairs, and Congressional Operations Bill. These 3 aforementioned bills are part of 12 other bills that the Senate is required to have passed to enact the 2026 budget. So they already had to pass this stuff as part of the 2026 budget. So the Democrat leadership caved in to the Republicans for basically nothing.
Okay.
This is something would had to be done under the law. We had such great momentum. We were winning. You know what I mean? We were making moves as far as the votes. So why did we quit? Why did we sell out? Why sell out the entire Democratic Party and other Americans, both Republicans and Democrats?
True.
This is all about $1 trillion tax break for the billionaire 1%ers. The Republicans are doing a continuation of the Doge program. Basically a continuation of that, what Doge did.
Fraud and abuse.
Fraud and abuse. and scrapping programs and
Yeah.
torturing the marginalized to save money so that tax money, they can get those tax breaks. So they got ways of getting money. Although healthcare and SNAP are part of our amazing concern of what's going on, cutting programs and laying off Americans is how the MAGA ran government will be able to, as I repeated before, enjoy their intended $1 trillion tax breaks, and again, continue the version of Doge that was already going on to continually marginalize and disenfranchise. Republicans, what it's going to do is double healthcare premiums that will affect about 20 million already struggling Americans. 15 million Americans could possibly be thrown off of Medicare in the Republican version of the Affordable Care Act based on recent studies. This will also result in tens of thousands potential deaths due to lack of access of health care. You know, at this time, socialized medicine is not looking so bad.
No.
You know, it's not, you know,
Actually brought
some
that up.
points that Bernie Sanders talk about, I ride with, and there's others I don't. I don't feel he's strong enough in race relations and all that. I don't think he's strong enough in that area, but I like some of his concepts. The Republicans, they know how to play dirty. And another thing that they did, Russ, they were using they knew it affecting the air industry as part of their bargaining chip would force the leverage against the Dems with the aircraft controllers, you know, not getting paid. You're not going to come to work. You know, that's just the way it is. So they're not going to work for free. I think this was part of their strategic plan to force the Dems to cave. But I still feel that the Dems should not cave, you know. So putting America's international travel in captivity basically creates chaos. They figured the Dems will cave prior to weakness exhibited in past political events. So that's where we are. What's your take, bro?
I'm kind of glad that you brought the word socialism, because I think a lot of people really do not understand the term, what socialism means. And you can take it either way. It depends on how you want to look at socialism. Is it good or is it bad? I don't know. But let me say this. In America today, many of the entitled programs that are listed by the government of this nation are socialist programs.
True.
Social Security, Medicare, I can go on and on and on. And I think when they scared because they want to relate the word socialism with the word communism. And when they start doing that, you know what that's all about.
Right.
You know, think about that. But let me go back to the shutdown chamber. I think we need to ask the reason why the shutdown took place. In American history, in 1787, there was something that was called the Great Compromise. The Great Compromise was the situation in which developed the two houses of Congress, because the small states and the large states would argue who will have the most power. In order to get that through, you have to give up some of your ideas, push them in the background, and accept some of the other people's ideas. It is called a compromise. Nobody wanted to compromise with this shutdown. The person who was controlling the shutdown, and I go back and look at this, Jamie. The Republicans or they control all forces of the government.
Yep.
The executive branch, Congress, and also the Supreme Court, I want to say. They were in charge. Now, who is running this? It is President Trump who is running this ship. He is running this. Although you got Congress, although you got the Supreme Court, but nothing come through without this man saying, this is what I want you to do, this is what I don't want you to do. If you don't come through me, you got a problem. You got a problem. Look at the impact that the shutdown had on people. 42 million America in the SNAP program lost benefits right away. That's a lot of people, Jimmy, 42 million.
Indeed.
That's a lot of people losing. Look at the layoff of federal people, furloughs, and those people who were not furloughs. And you're talking about 60,000 non-federal people. You're talking about 730,000 federal workers without pay. That's a lot of federal people.
It is.
You know, Jane. So these people losing their job. And look at the air traffic control people. They're losing their job. You know, in the Constitution, it is said that when things like this, Congress and people who are delegates shall not lose their pay. I hope they could change that.
Right, that's supposed to be guaranteed. You know,
That's guaranteed.
I mean, I'm saying for now, like for the people
I hope
that
they could change
that's
that.
been forced, was they were laid off and fired illegally to start with. You know what I mean? A lot. I mean, I'm saying the federal workers in general. Now, the air traffic controllers, they're basically saying, "Yo, man, I'm not getting paid. I got to feed my family, got to pay my mortgage." So I get that, but I think, as I said, I feel like that was already strategized by the Republicans, knowing that it would bring, the travel industry, the airline industry to a halt.
Exactly.
They were aware that was part of this. I don't give Trump. He's behind it, and he's the one that pulls the trigger on it. But he's not smart. And his handlers. This is just another check mark on Project 2025.
Sure.
It's just another check mark that they have. They're moving on to the next, and marginalized people once again are going to be that's going to suffer. Working class, I mean, not just all poor people. Like when you look at premiums and stuff being doubled, man, all for tax cuts for the very rich. America doesn't really, this government, this administration doesn't really appear to care about its American population, its people, its working class, the marginalized, and they show that. And it's not, they don't whisper it. They beat their chest and say it loud. They're showing us. And it's kind of a take it or leave it type situation. Now, this deal was, you know what, even I'm going to go back to this air traffic control stuff with them. Why didn't they get these private jets or private airlines?
Surely.
Why didn't they go over there? They could have, they could have
Supplement.
they could have supplemented this crisis with the use of some of them, but they didn't want to touch them because the billionaires were still flying. They weren't even missing a hitch. They were on it. They were still flying. They didn't want to do that. They wanted to create this chaos.
Exactly.
They were really flexing on us, and we crumbled, being weak as always, and all the programs, the SNAP, and they're thinking that in January that these people are going to make good on their promise.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. You've already showed your weakness. You've already showed you're weak. You already folded. They're not. You think like people are going to be paying these high premiums, and then you think come January, all that's supposed to change? When this is the same greediness. This is just going to revert back to what it was before Obamacare. That's your plan. Republicans don't have a plan other than that.
They don't have one.
It's going to revert back to how expensive it was, or even worse, before before Obamacare, and that is their plan. It's just ridiculous. We got to figure something out. Something's got to be figured out.
And I'm kind of glad you hop in on that the Republicans just don't have a plan for health care. Let's be honest with this. And when you look at it, the affordable care, I'm not going to say it's a great program, but it is a program that did help people and still helping people today.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, most of Trump constituents, their vote is on affordable health care.
Mm-hmm.
That is a problem that he and Martin Taylor Greene That's the bigger
That's the
problem.
switched out,
He switched out.
which was good.
It's kind of got
Tough.
on these things here. But here's what it is too. Mike Johnson, who was a puppet, was a and if you look at Mike Johnson and look at him, he seems like he's a very easy guy to deal with. But Mike Johnson is you have to watch this guy, man. His soft talk is crazy. It's very crazy. But here's what I want.
Sneaky.
He's a sneaky guy, right? But if you notice, he is always in touch. Before he does anything, he's always in touch with the president. He makes sure he kissed the ring 1st before he comes out to support the president. He has to make sure. He's good at that. But my whole thing with Mike Johnson is, and I know it, he cannot take questions. When people start asking him questions, he go into a shell. He cannot deal with that and things of that nature. But let me go back and say this about the photo book here. When Obama came in, and if you notice, you remember when they had that vote, I think it was John King who came up and voted for that health care thing, because it would have failed.
Right.
If it wasn't for, I think it was John King who approved that, and they were shocked that he did that.
It was needed. I mean,
yeah, it was needed. There are people that need help, for instance, cancer and things of that nature. They can afford it.
Yeah.
So these are the kind of people that were given that type of benefits. And I know it's expensive. You know it's expensive. So my concern, like you, if you got a better plan, do it. But you don't.
But they don't, because they're not concerned, man.
They don't. But here's what it is. Trump knows right now. Let me go back about the Democrats. The question that you got to ask about the Democrats, did they win the battle? No. Did they lose the battle or they won the war? I won. You see?
Yeah.
I won. Because I asked that because the same thing is going to come back in December, January. The same thing.
Right. And there's nothing inked. There is nothing inked.
Yeah.
You know they're going to switch out.
That's right.
We've already folded. Democrats have already folded. We weren't taken seriously in the beginning, and we're definitely not going to be taken serious now.
True.
You see what I mean? So you can't even do a business deal like that. Oh, sell me your building, man, and I'll pay you in 5 years. I give you money. Just we're gonna do it on a handshake. That's ridiculous. And I feel like Schumer needs to step down. They need to get rid of him. He has betrayed the people, and the 8 senators that crossed the line. They're going anyway. That's why they did it. It was already planned. This wasn't just something that happened. It was already orchestrated. And Schumer says he didn't know about it, but he had to have known.
Oh, he
had
knew.
to have known.
He knew.
We're not stupid, Chucky.
No, he knew.
We're not stupid.
But if you look at Schumer, let me take a shot at him too. I go by, when I look at Joe Biden, I look at Schumer, I look at Nancy Pelosi. And I love Nancy Pelosi. I tell anybody that, because this was a hell of a woman.
Right.
Nancy knew the ins and outs of the Democratic Party. She was the one that was encouraged if it would have happened. But Joe Biden, just a step down. Don't make an issue of it.
Right.
You know was a one-term president. That's all you were. And Nancy Pelosi was trying to tell Biden, but I think you get the big head sometimes, and you think you can go more than that. Biden was just a stopgap. That's all he was. I don't care how we look at it. He was a stopgap president.
Right.
And Nancy Pelosi was trying to tell Biden just to step down. Now, let's go to Schumer. The Democrats are moving with young boys and young men and young women, the progressive. The progressive versus the centrist. Moving towards
right.
you know all this kind of stuff. The Republicans it's like a poker game. They knew they could count on Schumer to go along with them. They knew that.
To cower.
To cover, they knew that. But what caught them off guard this time, when Schumer said no, that messed them up. It messed them up. Now the question is, why Schumer said no this time? I wanted to bet somewhere in that Democratic environment, they had a talk with Schumer.
Mm-hmm. Probably hemmed him up somewhere.
They had a talk with Schumer. So right now I'm trying to find out what is going to be the future of this one. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't either.
I don't know.
But I do know you can't trust the Republicans at their word.
No, you can't.
You can't trust the Republicans at their word. And I think
that's why
we were in a position to flex a little bit.
That's right.
And we gave that position up. So we, our hand is weak right now. And I know Hakeem Jeffries was talking about, we can probably go in and fight a little bit with the help of 3 Republicans. Who's going to cross the line? Republicans are not coming our way.
No.
They're not going to cross the line. Everybody's scared of Trump. They're scared of the MAGA government.
Yeah, it's scared of.
They're not going to cross. They're not going to cross the line. And this deal is a fallacy. It's just I don't. For 8 people to cross 8.
8 people.
8 people that were retiring to cross over. That's not an accident. That's not something that just happened. That was orchestrated. And it's so corrupt. It's
You see what you're saying about those, and you're right. It was orchestrated. The Republican, okay, I think it was like 13 or 14 times it was turned down. 13. I really don't know. About 13. But the Republicans, when Trump told them, you better make sure you get this thing across. You better make sure that this big, beautiful bill of mine passes. See, that's the whole thing. You better make sure of that.
Yeah.
So now it is not on Johnson anymore. It is up to the Senate, which is led by, John, I think his name, I forgot his name, but it's led by him. And what Trump is looking at, that you got a filibuster in the Senate, that you got to have 60 votes regardless. You got to have 60. Trump was always saying to the Republican Party and to Magnet, I want you to destroy the filibuster, but the Republican Party told Trump, no, I don't want you to do that. Because just in case the Democrats get in,
we might need it.
We might need
it. Yeah, you don't need that. Don't do that.
So I'm going back to what you said about the 8 Democrats. They researched that out thoroughly. How can we get these damn Democrats to vote? And they searched that thing. Well, we got them. Look at them. Oh, someone getting ready to retire. Someone doing this. Fetterman was someone to me. Let's get John Fetterman first.
Yeah.
When they got John Fetterman to say that, we shouldn't fold. And then Angus, who is not a Democrat, but he's an independent, but he votes Democrat, and they got him to go along, then they only have to search for a few more of them.
Who were retiring anyway.
And that's what they did.
And they wouldn't have to answer to constituents or anything. So it's like, that's what I'm saying. It was already orchestrated with probably the guidance of the Republicans. Because Schumer is, we need to only have progressives on the Democratic side. We can no longer have these. I'm saying Schumer needs to go. And I'm not saying because of his age. I'm saying his integrity. He has no backbone. He has no spine. That's all I'm saying. I mean, a lot of them are over 80 and sharp as a tack. They're sharp. It's not that. I feel like he betrayed us. I was really feeling good about the ground we was making, gaining.
I thought we had a little ace in the hole.
Yeah.
But obviously the ace in the hole kind of fall.
So we're kind of at their whim now until
December, January.
Yeah, January, and they're not going to keep their word. They're not going to keep their word.
See what Trump is doing now with the Republican Party and the Magna Party. He is telling them, okay, the Democrats have played their hands down. We know they're talking about the ACA, Affordable Care Bomb Can. That is the thing that That is the thing that's killing us. So what we got to do when this thing come around next time. In fact, I was listening to Dr. Oz today on TV. Dr. Oz.
Dr. Oz.
Could you believe this
Talk
shit?
politics now.
Yeah, Dr. Oz. And the question that they were asking him, do you have a plan for health subsidy? Oh, the way he was talking, you think they do have a plan. But Trump has said to them, you better come up with something dealing with health subsidy. Because if we don't, you're talking about a shutdown again,
It'll be a
it's going to be something else. This will be a
and they don't have a plan.
They
If
don't
they had
have
it, they'd have been talking about it. One thing Republicans
6 years.
they boast and brag, and if
That's
they got something, everybody's gonna know it, and they're gonna hammer it into
That's
their head. They don't have a plan.
They don't
Their
have a-
plan is to revert back to the
Yeah.
original plan of what was going on before Obamacare. You see what I mean?
Truly.
People are not gonna be able to afford this stuff. This is ridiculous, and that's as I said previously, socialism, at least for the healthcare, is looking pretty good right now.
Sure.
Socialized medicine is looking pretty good right now. It's you got people like, this is bad. SNAP. I mean hunger. I don't even care about people air traffic and travel. I don't care about all that. These people need to eat. These people need to eat. These kids. You know what I mean?
That's right.
These kids. That wasn't high on my list about worrying about flights. Although I was a victim of that.
Oh, I bet you would.
Yeah.
I bet you
But
would.
I don't even care about all that. It's the basic necessities.
I'm glad you're bringing that up. I'm glad people focus on that too. Like you said,
Yeah.
I want to, in a way, I care about the traffic controller because I didn't want anyone to get hurt or something.
Right.
But let's go back.
I don't know planes that crash. I'm saying like
Truly.
getting here and
Truly.
going on your vacation.
Truly.
That
Truly.
versus food is not
Truly.
really important.
But food,
Yeah.
hunger
Mm-hmm.
in America, come on.
And healthcare.
Health, it's unheard of. Shit.
Our country is losing its humanity. It's putting humanity over money.
True.
And that's what's going on. And we shouldn't be surprised because Donald Trump, like many say, he kind of said what he was going to do, but they are really gaining. They're really gaining on this Project 2025 thing because they're ticking it off. I mean, some few months ago, earlier in the year, they're like, oh, they're 50%. I feel like they're like 70% of the way down their list.
I go back and I look at Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Mm-hmm. Still don't like her.
You can't trust Marjorie Taylor Greene. You see, something must have happened between Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene in the political field.
Yeah.
And I think what it was, I think she, and I could be very wrong on this, I think she was trying to run for some type of political environment in Georgia. And he went back up on it. Yeah. And because of that, she took it very personal.
Yeah.
Now, when she came out, here's when I don't trust people, Jamie. When you tell me you're a Christian, oh, that's the first thing. I'm a Christian. That scares me. When you trying to define yourself as a Christian and some of the things that you have done previously, and you want to define yourself as a Christian,
people,
oh, come on.
They throw that word around too loosely now, and you gotta almost redefine what when individuals that call themselves Christian, you got to kind of redefine that. You got to go all the way back to the Ethiopian Bibles. You got to go all the way back to those 17 to 2200 books of religion, because everything's been whitewashed, and this Bible we're looking at now has been remixed to control the masses, the people, the poor, the lower on the totem pole. So that. But anyway, we got to wrap this up. Time has come. We thank you all for viewing. We'll be on the radio here on 99.1 Tuesdays, 5:30 p.m. every Tuesday. People, we are in a crisis. We need to vote.
Please vote. Mid-election.
Yeah, mid elections, we
Late
got to
vote.
get out here. For all those who stayed home, or all those didn't like this person or that person, shame on you.
Yeah, shame on you. Shame on you. Got to vote.